Good morning, class. My name is Hassan, and this is my presentation for Imap and DNS. I'm going to begin with a little history of Imap. So Imap stands for Internet Message Access Protocol. It was developed first by Mark Crispin at Stanford University in 1986 as alternative to Post Office Protocol, POP. Imap 2 was released in 1988, and this was the first version made into standard. This version only supported online operation. So other versions were released in 1991, that was Imap 3, and in 1994, Imap 4 was released. In this slide, I'm going to talk about what's Imap. Imap is an internet standard protocol used by email clients to retrieve messages over TCP and IP connection. Modern email servers support Imap, including webmail service providers like Gmail, Yahoo, and all these provide support for Imap. Imap protocol works best when the client is using multiple computers in multiple locations. In this slide, I'm going to discuss about what Imap offers us. Imap offers us access to messages without downloading it from the server. In other words, you do not have to wait for your new messages to download from server before you read them. Imap also offers us support for offline, disconnected, and online modes. All the three modes are for remote mailbox access. Imap support access to shared mailbox because every major client is pretty much compatible with Imap. Again, Imap gives us chance to access our messages from multiple locations. Next in this slide, I'll go through the technical aspect of Imap. Imap is supported by Dovecote server, and Dovecote server is one of the fastest and reliable server, and it gives support to Imap. And to set up an Imap server with Dovecote, you'll need to run the packages. For example, I have a command here, apt get install dovecote-imapd. And once you install, you can configure it by /etc/dovecote/. Then you might need to let Dovecote know where to find mailboxes for your local users. And then after doing that, you can restart your server and let Imap run. In this slide, I'll talk about hardening Imap. First, make sure your system is updated. You need to make sure that you test and track everything before deploying to a production environment and applying security measures to help fix any major security flaw that could help put your business data into risk. You'll also need to want to configure your authentication, and in Linux 18.4, Dovecote is automatically configured to use SSL. But we need to create a certificate that will make our email secured. We'll also need to make sure that we protect our password, and usually unique password will be hard to crack. We need to make sure that we use port 993 instead of port 143. We could still use port 143, but it's unsecured and it's non-encrypted. So we need to use port 993 that connects with Imap security. In this slide, I'm going to talk about DNS. DNS stands for Domain Name System. DNS was created in 1993 and became Internet standard in 1986. DNS translates human-readable domain names to machine-readable IP addresses. For example, the domain name www.google.com will be translated to IP address 172.194.39.78. Just example. There are two types of DNS services. One is authoritative, which provide an update mechanism to manage public DNS, and the other one is recursive or resolver, and this acts as an intermediary who can get DNS on your behalf. Next, I'm going to discuss about DNS technical aspect, and I'm going to start with bind, which stands for Berkeley Internet Name Domain. It's an open source system that is used for translating domain names into IP address and is found in Linux server. Bind allows us to publish DNS information on the internet and resolve DNS queries for the users. So to set up a DNS on Linux 18.4 and implement Bind 9, first we need to install Bind, then configure DNS server. You can use command /etc/bind/name.config, and then you can create the zone for your DNS. After doing that, you can restart your service, and then Bind should be able to work at that time. And also remember, Bind will help us to resolve private host names and private IP addresses, especially when our environment is expanding for more than few hosts. Next, I'm going to discuss about hardening DNS. First, we need to use the latest versions, which is Bind 9 right now. Bind 9 is actively maintained and it has new release issued several times a year. Another thing we need to do to hardening our DNS, we need to have a resource isolation, which help us in preventing other service or users targeting a weakness in our system. We also need to restrict zone transfer with IP addresses. This will minimize amount of information available in our network for attackers, and we will also consider restricting and not allowing recursive queries. We also need to run bind with minimum privilege as a non-root users. And these are my references I used in this presentation.